Alright, guys. So, day 4 of the NBA playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, for some reason, the NBA, this is my main gripe, for some reason, the NBA decided to schedule 2 games basically at the same time, one at 10 o'clock and one at 10:30. They weren't even early in the day, they were late at night if you live Eastern Standard Time. So, I wasn't able to catch both of them like at the same time, that being the LakersSuns game and the Mavs-Clippers game. I watched the end of the fourth between the Mavs-Clippers game, and I watched all of the Lakers-Suns game, and of course all of the Celtics-Nets game. Most of it because it was a blowout, but we'll get to that. But NBA, please don't schedule games at the same time ever again, especially at 10 o'clock at night. So let's get into the first game. You guys know how it is. Celtics-Nets. For the most part, I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, Celtics have zero chance, and I mean zero chance, of winning this series. Zero. Unless something catastrophic happens. There's no way that the Celtics can win this, especially without Jaylen Brown. So they get whooped, pretty much, 130 to 108, and the big three didn't even have an amazing game. Kyrie Irving only had 15, Blake Griffin only had 11 points, James Harden with 20, Kevin Durant with 26, and Joe Harris with a surprising 25. Not really surprising if you watch the game. He had I think something like 14, 15 in the first quarter. He had like 4 or 5 threes in a row, and that's basically where the game slipped away from them. As soon as they went up 20 in the first quarter, because Joe Harris would go down, hit a 3, they would miss. Joe Harris would go down, hit another 3, and then they would miss, and that cycle would repeat about 4 or 5 times, and that ultimately put them down 20, and they stayed about down 20 the entire game. They just couldn't catch up from that. Pretty much everyone on the Nets had a good game. Everyone had a solid game. The big three wasn't completely oppressive. They only scored like 60-something points together combined. Nothing crazy. Other than that, Jason Tatum got hurt. He got poked in the eye, didn't come back. And he only went 3 for 12 in 21 minutes, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. So Jason Tatum's health, I'm sure he'll be back. He just got poked in the eye. Probably come back with a mask or something like that, or a face mask if it's really bothering him. But it doesn't really matter because they're not winning this series. Those are 2 games at home, and Brooklyn is just too good for Boston this year. Boston is having an up and down year. Only went 36-36 on the regular season. It just isn't their year this year, and that happens to teams. It wasn't the Sixers' year last year. That's what I'm going to point at. After going to the semifinals, they got bounced out in the first round by Boston last year in the bubble, 4-0 without Ben Simmons. Kind of the same situation that Boston is in right now. They're going to get bounced out in the first round without their second best player in Jaylen Brown. And that's really all I have to say. Really, Blake Griffin had a couple throwback dunks after getting blocked on one of them, but he had a couple throwback dunks. The game was alright. I kind of turned it off after the fourth quarter started because I knew it was over, and this series has been over the minute it started. So let's not talk too much about this game. Let's move on to the Lakers at the Suns. Lakers can get the revenge win without Chris Paul in the second half. He didn't play too many minutes. Chris Paul, if I look at his minutes, he only played 23. 2 of 5 shooting, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists in those 23 minutes that he played, which forced Devin Booker to play more of a point guard role, even though surprise player of the game, Cameron Payne, 33 minutes off the bench, 6 of 15 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, and 19 points, 7 assists. He was playing the role of Chris Paul in this game, but couldn't ultimately be Chris Paul. The Lakers get the win 109-102. Anthony Davis and LeBron James having bounce-back games. Even though LeBron James, in my opinion, should be a little bit more aggressive. This is the playoffs. I'm used to LeBron because I've been watching him for so long, and these playoff games just drop 35, 45, 42, whatever, 30, whatever. He'll go berserko. And I'm going to say, after watching these 2 games, LeBron James is not himself. We all know it. So I'm going to say that the way the Lakers need to win the championship is if LeBron James is more of a playmaker and very good scorer who drops 25 a night, and Anthony Davis is that defensive anchor who drops those 35, 34, 40-point games that he is capable of doing. In order for them to win this series, Anthony Davis kind of has to be their best player, quote unquote, or just their highest scoring player if they want to win this series, because LeBron James is hurt. Anthony Davis played 40 minutes, 7 of 15 shooting, 10 rebounds, 7 assists in 34 minutes. That is a LeBron-like stat line right there that you would usually see from LeBron, who only went for 4 rebounds, 9 assists, and 23 points in his 39 minutes that he played. Off the bench for the Lakers, Marc Gasol, he hit a couple threes. He hit 2 of them. 6 points off the bench. I liked him at the top of the key. Kind of being that passing big man that we all know Marc Gasol is capable of being. Other than that, off the bench, not much production on the offensive end. It was all the starters here. Davis, LeBron, Schroeder, and now we can get to Andre Drummond, who I criticized last game for being in the way of Anthony Davis, which I still believe is kind of true. I still think Anthony Davis should play center. I'm not going to walk away from that. But Andre Drummond did have an okay game. He went 7 for 11, 12 rebounds, 15 points in his 24 minutes that he played. So kind of a bounce back game for Andre Drummond, if you want to take it that way. But I still think he shouldn't play as many minutes. I still think Anthony Davis at the center spot and maybe Marc Gasol coming off the bench is the better idea for the Lakers right here, especially because they only won this game by 7 without Chris Paul in the second half. And they're going back to LA, which has cardboard fans in the crowd. So I think Anthony Davis still should play center instead of Andre Drummond. But it did work here. I'm sure Monty Williams will come up with something to defer that next game. He is a great coach. My coach of the year, other than Tom Thibodeau. So I think Andre Drummond should go back to the bench. But they're not going to put him at the bench because they're clearly satisfied with him as center, especially probably after this game where he played well. Last thing I want to talk about is, for this game at least, is the Suns' horrible three-point shooting. They shot 10 for 33 from 3. Or, I'm sorry, not the Suns' horrible three-point shooting, but the Lakers' horrible three-point shooting, 10 for 33, and the Suns' horrible three-point shooting, 8 for 26. So, I'm assuming if someone has a good three-point shooting game, they're probably going to win the game, which happened in Game 1, where the Suns shot pretty well from 3, and the Lakers, of course, did not. So, that's it for this game, 109-102, and the last game of the day, or at the same time as this other game that we just talked about, the Dallas Mavericks at the Clippers. Dallas gets the 2-0 win, absolutely stealing home court from the Clippers. They get to go back home to Dallas for these last 2 games, which I think will probably be 3 more games in the series. I think the Clippers are going to go down 3-1, and here's why. Kawhi had a good game. 41 points, 4 for 7 from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 for 21 from the field, made 2/3 of his shots, shot 66% from the field. Paul George, 12 of 22, 28 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists in his 40 minutes that he played. Marcus Morris Sr., 3 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, 9 points. Reggie Jackson, 3 for 8, 5 for 12, 30 minutes, 15 points. 2 assists for him too. Rajon Rondo in his 19 minutes, 2 for 3 from the field, 7 assists, 4 points. So, not a bad game from the Clippers. They also shot 40% from 3 and 53% from the field. Again, this is a great game from the Clippers, a great bounce-back game after that horrible Game 1. I mean, horrible Game 1. Like, that was a horrible Game 1 from them. But Dallas just played better. 58% from the field for Dallas. 52% from 3. 18 threes. 18 of 34. Luka Doncic, 16 of 29. 5 of 13 from 3. 39 points. 7 rebounds. 7 assists in 38 minutes. Kristaps Porzingis, 8 for 12 from the field. 3 for 4 from 3. 4 rebounds. 20 points from him. Tim Hardaway Jr., 9 of 14 from the field, 6 for 8 from 3, 28 points, 5 assists, 1 rebound, in his 38 minutes. Maxi Kleber, 34 minutes, 5 of 6, 2 for 2 from 3, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 13 points. They just had an amazing game. They couldn't miss. This team, they could not miss. And it was like, you would think 41 points from Kawhi, 28 points from Paul George, their best two players. Got good production from Rondo and Reggie Jackson off the bench. And probably win this game. Shooting 40% from 3 and 53% from the field, right? Dallas just played outstanding. Luka is so good. He draws so many people to him, and he's so good at passing that when he goes to find anyone after being double teamed, and they were just hitting everything. When he was passing out to them, they would hit, they wouldn't miss. And that's how this game pretty much ended up. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit a clutch 3 after a Luka double team where he passed to the middle. Dude from the middle passed out to Tim Hardaway Jr. That was it. That was the game. So, thinking they're going to go home to Dallas, they're going to be hyped for Game 3, being on their home floor. And I think they probably will win Game 3. And I think they're going to win Game 4. I think this is going to be a sweep. Now, this says a lot about this Clippers team. And I have so many thoughts about them, especially about Ty Lue not playing Rondo in this game enough minutes. We saw last year Rondo was good in clutch minutes. When he was with the Lakers in the fourth quarter, he did not play in the fourth quarter in these clutch minutes. That was Reggie Jackson. That was Patrick Beverley, who aren't good playmakers, which forced Kawhi to be a playmaker, which isn't his role. So, after seeing all this, yes, I think this series is going to end in 4 games. And that is my controversial opinion of the day. And that's going to end the video. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what else is up. Stay safe. Stay cool. Have a good one.